everyone, and welcome back to a brand new video.
Hello!
So today we're going to chat through all the Disney touches at our wedding.
Yeah, we thought it would be nice to look back on our special day and then just see the little elements of Disney that we put in, because it wasn't specifically
a Disney wedding.
There were all these little personal touches that we put in there. Some of them were more obvious than others, but we thought that there was the right balance for us.
Yeah, and maybe if you're watching this because you're planning your own wedding and you're thinking about what Disney touches you could maybe add, then I hope it's helpful. So if you're brand new to the channel, we got married in 2021. It was actually a postponed wedding. It was meant to be in 2020, but of course, everything going on, we had to move it. We were very, very lucky as well because all the restrictions got lifted 10 days before our wedding, which looking back now is crazy that happened.
We were very fortunate.
We were very, very fortunate. So we had an amazing day. It was pretty much the perfect day for us, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was at the Gardens in Kent, and we've actually got a playlist on the channel, and it's all about like from engagement to the actual wedding day, if you do want to check that out.
Yeah, but we wanted to, obviously we're huge Disney fans, we love visiting the parks, and we wanted to include Disney, but we didn't want it to be a complete Disney wedding. We didn't want everything to be Disney, but we definitely wanted to add a few personal Disney touches. Yes. So we're going to go through them now and show you.
And the way that we've done it is we're basically walking ourselves back through the day, weren't we? And sort of when we stumbled across these specific things. So the first thing that I stumbled across, when I say stumbled, when I walked into the venue, in front of me was the wedding cake. Now the wedding cake we had talked about previously, and we got one of your family friends.
Yes, so we had a family friend make it. He actually doesn't make cakes for a business, because everyone's always asking, can you please like send me his business, and like what's mad is that he just does it for friends, kind of like a hobby, but he is so talented at it. And the cake he created, well we'll insert videos and pictures now, but it was out of this world, and it was probably the most talked about thing at our wedding. Everyone loved it, everyone was sharing photos of it.
Well, as well, it was a surprise to me because we had talked about it being teacups, obviously in a reference to, you know,
Mad
the
Hat's
ride, Mad Hat's teacups. And so, like, they were all stacked on top of each other.
And I really like the way that, I think I saw it on Pinterest, a cake, and it was all stacked on top of each other, teacups, and I really like that idea. But when I was chatting to him, this was actually his suggestion, and he was like, why don't you have chip on top?
Oh, did he suggest it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I was like, that is an amazing idea. And then he was like, you're going to tell Martyn? And I was like, no, let's leave it as a surprise.
Oh, that's so special. I didn't realise that he was the one that suggested
idea,
that.
yeah.
Well, that's why he was in charge of making the cake.
Yeah. And it was actually quite a hot day that day. And he had to bring all of the cakes like in separate parts. And then he put it together when he was there. And watching him actually create it in real time was amazing, and it stayed standing.
It did.
For the whole
like
the
right
whole
up
wedding.
till the cake cutting, right before the dance.
And it was all made out of cake as well, because sometimes you have sort of fake cake, but it was actually all cake, even chip, because we took chip home.
It was yummy.
Yeah.
We had it for a little while.
But yeah, that is one of my favourite Disney touches that we had. Disney cakes, if you want to incorporate a little bit of Disney, I think it is a nice way of doing it.
Yeah.
So next is our table plan. So this was outside. We had our wedding breakfast in a teepee. So this was outside of the teepee, and it had all the tables and who was at each table. And I think we found the template on Etsy, which we purchased, and then we added our own picture, because I think it had like a stock photo, and we added the castle because we wanted a little touch of Disney. I think it was the Disneyland Paris castle.
Yeah.
And then we added, of course, our table names, more on that later. And then we added who was at each table. So it was really simple to make. And then we got it printed, and we had it on a easel, which the venue supplied. So that was all really easy, and a nice little way of adding a little sprinkle of Disney again.
Yeah, and having the castle fit in very much to the tables, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
One important element was music and like sort of setting the vibe as people arrive. So we had a playlist that was for people arriving, and then we also had a playlist for later on, which was when people were having the wedding breakfast.
Yeah.
Were we doing them on Spotify?
Yes.
And what we decided to do was we picked film scores mainly.
I don't know where I think this idea just came to me. I think one day I was thinking, like, what music will be really good for when people enter? And I love film scores. Martyn is a huge film buff, so
Yeah.
I knew that he'd love it. And I thought it just had that, like, kind of overture feeling, like, you know, before a performance and you have the overture and it kind of gets everyone excited, and that's sort of the feeling that I wanted whilst everyone was arriving for the ceremony, and it just worked perfectly. And what I loved is that I thought if people recognised it, great, but if not, it's just nice music in the background. But so many people recognised the music, and they were like, was that The Hobbit playing, or was that this playing?
And then
which I loved.
when we go back to the playlist and listen to it, which we sometimes do, it's weird because I'm like transported back to the precise like moment in time, and I can sort of figure out where I was during that point, which is great. So we just listed some of the songs that we included, because obviously we included some Disney and some Pixar songs in there. So just some ones that we had were, so This Is Love.
And this was all the instrumental versions.
Married Life from Up,
of course.
Mary Poppins Overture.
One of my favourites.
Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes. The Princess Leia theme from Star Wars. I mean, I never thought that we'd have a Star Wars tune playing at our wedding when I first met you. But I love that tune. Go the Distance. Hercules, your favourite.
My favourite.
The Ratatouille, was the main theme.
Such beautiful music.
Rainbow Connection, which is a special place because we've played it on the channel as well. Bella Noche? Bella Noche.
Yeah, Bella Notte.
Lavender Blue, Princess Diaries Waltz.
Had to get that in.
And Something There.
Yeah, so we had a mixture of Disney, then we also had other films. But yeah, I think that's a really nice idea. If you're a little bit stuck on what music to have before the ceremony, I would really recommend film scores.
Mm-hmm.
And then carrying on with music into our ceremony, we had a harpist, which I'd always dreamed about having a harpist, and I was so happy that we managed to have one, and she was wonderful.
And again, calling on
good.
connections. And...
Yeah, it was a friend of my mum's, but she actually plays harp professionally, and she's played it for many weddings. And so we had Can You Feel the Love Tonight as the music when I walked down the aisle, and that was just perfect. That was actually the song that was playing when Martyn proposed in Disneyland Paris. So it was all kind of linked together.
Yeah.
And then on the way out, or when we were signing the registrar, we had You'll Be in My Heart.
Yeah, that was definitely in the...
Yeah, and then we had a few other songs. We had like not Can You Feel Love Tonight?
Can't
Help Falling in Love.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had to get some Disney into the ceremony through the music.
And then also while people were enjoying canapes and stuff, there was also music being played through the harp.
Oh yeah, I think she tried Toy Story as well.
Yeah, well, look, we sent over like a suggestion of just some songs, and then they were able to
in Taylor's oldest time
work on them and play them while people were enjoying their canapes. But by that point, we were literally going everywhere and anywhere.
Yeah. And then still in the ceremony, we had 2 readings. One wasn't Disney, and then we had one from Winnie the Pooh, and Martyn actually has it. You're going to do a reading.
I'm going to do a reading. And this as well. My dad bought this for us for... It was Christmas or a birthday. Obviously from Up.
Yeah.
The adventure book. And what we used this for was that people could take Polaroid photos.
And write messages.
And then write their messages inside. So that's lovely to look back on. But then we also, because we had some pages to spare, decided to pop in the readings as well.
Yeah. We also got our vows as well.
Yeah. So the one that we had from Winnie the Pooh... If you live to be 100, I want to live to be 100 minus 1 day, so I never have to live without you. And Piglet sidled up to Pooh from behind. Pooh, he whispered. Yes, Piglet.
The person reading didn't do the voices.
Nothing, said Piglet, taking Pooh's hand. I just wanted to be sure of you. We'll be friends forever, won't we, Pooh? Asked Piglet. Even longer, Pooh answered. If ever there is tomorrow when we're not together, there is something you must always remember. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. But the most important thing is, even if we're apart, I'll always be with you.
It's a lovely reading, and if you are looking for a little bit of Disney in your readings, I would highly recommend that one.
Yeah. Sorry, I've just had to do the Winnie the Pooh impression.
So then, also in the ceremony, we of course had our personal vows, and I don't think we've shared them on the channel. I think we thought about it, and we might do in the future maybe, but they were very personal to us. But of course, they included Disney. They included Disney trips. I think we both mentioned Disney trips.
What was interesting is that we both had similar sort of themes to what we were saying. Which was nice, because obviously it showed how, you know, the connection. But definitely within mine was that I promised to take you on any Disney trips that you wish to go on.
I promise. So now we're moving on from the ceremony and we are heading towards the wedding breakfast, and then probably the biggest Disney element of our wedding was the wedding breakfast, because all the tables were named after Disney rides.
Yes.
And what's more, each table had a different favour to do with whatever ride table they were on.
Yes.
And we actually have a full video on the channel, so I'll pop that in the description box, where we go through in detail what each table was and what the favours were. But we'll quickly go through them now.
And then just quickly, it's also what I did is I designed fast passes.
Yes.
For
so good.
Fast passes, if you remember them.
I know, back in the day.
But like they were designed like the paper ones that you used to get from like Disneyland Paris and I think Disney California. And we had a larger one which was like on the table, and then for the place names they were also the fast passes as well. And I wrote on them like, this fast pass will never be available again.
And what's nice is that's like even like a little memento as well, if people did want to keep it. It had their name on. But so we had Mad Hatter's Tea Party, and for that table we had little teacups, and then we had potpourri in them, or if it was a child sitting at the table we had sweets in them. And then we had the Star Tours table. So this had a little Mickey bottle opener that we got from Etsy. But each one had an individual Star Wars quote. I love them.
Yeah,
they were so good.
All different quotes.
They're a really lovely Star Wars favour if you just want like a Star Wars theme.
Yeah. And they also got inflatable lightsabers.
And then they got inflatable lightsabers as well, which all of these favours kind of appeared at the party after.
Yeah.
And then we had the rock and roller coaster table, and this is probably one of my favourite tables. This is what my bridesmaids were sat at. And this had a festival band, and it had Wedfest on it, and then they had inflatable guitars.
Yeah.
Which they lucked out.
Those Wedfest things were really good.
Them, yeah.
And a lot of the stuff, we found on Etsy.
And then we had the Winnie the Pooh, the Many Adventures table, and this was lovely. So this table had honey pots, but the honey was actually made by my Uncle Charles, because he makes his own honey. And it was really special in these little pots, and then they had a little label on them which said Helena and Martyn's wedding, 100 acre honey. And yeah, I love that little favour.
Yeah,
that's
nice.
A really lovely favour. Then we had Big Thunder Mountain. This was a good favour as well, because they all got these really nice cowboy hats.
Yeah, they were really good.
We found them on Amazon, I think, but they were really good quality,
really nice
weren't
quality,
they?
Yeah.
Then we had the Pirates of the Caribbean table, and this is what my cousins were all at, and they all got mini rum bottles. And then we had It's a Small World, and then we found these travel mugs which were made out of bamboo, and they had the world, the globe on them.
The atlas, yeah.
Then we had Slinky Dog Zigzag Spin, and this is really cute.
Dog.
We still have one of the mugs from this table, but they were little Dash Hound mugs, and they were really sweet. And then we had Phantom Manor, of course. And we were really struggling with what to have as the favour for this table.
We couldn't find anything. To do with Phantom Manor that would work.
And then we had a light bulb moment. We were like, we've literally made the perfect favour. So everyone got a happy chappy phantom. Fridge magnet.
It was back when we made the fridge magnets, and we had a few left over, I think. So. Oh no, we bought some especially.
Yeah, but I know that my friend Christina, and I think she sometimes watches the channel, says that she still has it up on her fridge. And then we had the ratatouille table. This was one of my favourites. So they each got a wooden spoon, and then they also got a chef's hat.
Yeah.
And they wore those chef's hats the whole wedding breakfast. I love the dedication.
You have to sort of think about who's going to fit with what theme and what table, but like it really worked because the people that were on Big Thunder, the people on all of them, everybody took like
really got really
into it.
I also heard that there were a few trades trying to happen.
With the chef's hat as well. Were you just going to say? Sorry. When we went to Bistro Chez Remy on the night that we got engaged, we it was this little hack, wasn't it, where we said, can we do compliments to the chef or something? Or
yeah, I don't know if they still do it.
I'm not sure if they still do it, but what happened is they went off and they came back and the chef came out and signed a chef's hat. And that phrase that they put on the chef's hat, we got one of our friends to write on
it. And she actually wrote on all of the chef's hats. So thank you, Ginny. And yeah, it was amazing. That was one of my favourite tables. And then, the top table, which was our table. So we were trying to think, like, what ride? And we couldn't really think of anything that signified that it was the top table. So we decided to call our table Happily Ever After.
Yes.
And sort of just kind of incorporate the whole Disney park in one. And then we made a snow globe. And because the members of that table are all our close family, we thought they would appreciate a snow globe, and then it had a photo from our couple shoot.
Yes.
And then it had a photo of the gardens in it as well, which was a cute gift.
Yeah. And like I was saying earlier, so while we were having the wedding breakfast, while we were getting up and chatting to the different tables, there was music playing in the background, which was a combination of just songs that we love, quite laid back sort of songs, but then also some Disney songs scattered in there as well. Yeah. So it was a bit of a game with people that were listening.
Spot the Disney songs.
Whether they could hear them. Yeah. I actually got that idea from my brother's wedding, where he'd sprinkled in wrestling theme tunes, and then I was the only one who picked out that they were playing. And then the last thing that we've got down here was to do with our first dance.
And this video is on the channel. So if you are new to the channel, and there's one video which I just urge you to watch because I think it's probably one of my favourite videos on the channel, and that is our first dance. And then after our first dance is my father-daughter dance.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just such a special video.
And you'd always wanted like a little choreographed piece.
Obviously I'm a dancer, so I was like, it needs to be choreographed. Like, I'm taking this moment.
Yeah, so the song that we'd gone for was Love by Nat King Cole.
Which again is something that Martyn was very kind, because I have wanted Love by Nat King Cole as my wedding song since I was about... Well, I need to work out how old I was when I first watched The Parent Trap. Because ever since I'd watched that film, that I knew that was going to be my first dance song, and it was. And it just feels so special because I've wanted that for years.
And then what we did was we found a video on YouTube, didn't we? Where we took elements of their dance. So they were teaching, there was a little tutorial. So we took elements of that, and then we incorporated in the middle the handshake from The Parent Trap.
Do you remember
I don't know, I can't remember it now, no.
You'll have to watch the video because it was clever how we put it in. And what I loved is that some people were like, oh, that's funny, but then some people were like, I know what that is. And they were like, as if you put that in your first dance. And I was like, yes, you know.
Yeah. Oh, it was really enjoyable. It was just like, you just had to decide to just go all out with it and have fun with it. And yeah, I'm glad that we were able to incorporate. That's one of my favourite things from that day.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll pop that in the description box as well. Definitely check out that video.
And the inflatable guitars from Rock and Roller Coaster
made an appearance.
Not in our dance, but in the father-daughter.
Yeah. So I think that is actually everything. All the Disney elements in our wedding. So there's actually quite a few. And... it's weird because when I look back, I'm like, oh, there wasn't that much Disney, but there actually was. But it still didn't feel too much. I think we got quite a nice balance for us.
I think so, yeah. And I just think it's really important to put those personal touches in and make it your own day. because that's what you're going to really fondly remember.
I think as much as it is nice to like have a perfect Pinterest wedding and, you know, try and, you know, get this perfect look, I think when you look back, the things you remember are those personal touches, are those things that make it your wedding. You don't remember like the perfect, you know, cake. You remember the cake because you're like, oh, that's a personal cake to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that is probably our biggest advice if you are planning your wedding. Just have loads of personal touches and do stuff that you love. You know, it's your one day where you can be a bit selfish and you can do, you know, the things that you love. And yeah, try and incorporate them as much as you can. So I hope you enjoyed this video, a little trip down memory lane as well if you've been with us, because it's been...
It's going to be coming up to 2 years.
It's going to be coming up to 2 years in July.
How fast that's gone.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a special day and one we'll remember forever.
Oh yeah, it was brilliant. I loved it.
So we will leave this one here and we will see you in our next video. Please like and subscribe for a lot more videos.
Yeah, and hit the bell button so you're notified each time we upload. We'll see you next time.
See you soon. Bye.
Toodle Pipski.